Hello survivors and welcome to another Walking Dead Road to Survival video, and in this video we're going to be going over some absolutely huge changes that are going to be coming to the RTS with regards to gold mythic tokens, TWD gold medals and gold bits. We're going to be breaking it all down and I'll give you my opinion on what effect I think this is going to have on the game initially and potentially long term. So read through the information. It says changes to Premier Recruits, Gold Mythic Wheel and more. Hello survivors, the team has been working hard on some upcoming changes to how players will collect Gold Mythic fighters, along with reworking the bit shop, the Gold Mythic Recruits Wheel, TWD Gold Medal collections and more. We thought it was important to share these changes as we prepare for the release of the last limit break, and so you know what to expect as we move forward on our road to survival. The first one is the Premier Recruits Wheel. First, we'll be adding a third guaranteed open to the Premier Recruits Wheel as we are approaching the release of Limit Break 3 in December. We'll also be lowering the number of opens required to get each of the guaranteed opens. You will now receive the first copy of a featured Premier Recruit after 80 opens, and the second at 160 opens, and the third guaranteed copy of a featured Premier Recruit fighter at 240 opens. Along with these changes, we'll be removing 5-star recruits from this wheel and shifting those appearance rates to legendary 6-star fighters, which can be exchanged for rare bits. Look for these changes to take effect with this week's upcoming Mr. Lou Premier Recruits Wheel on November the 25th. The new appearance rates are listed below. And here are those new appearance rates. As you can see, there is still the 0.75% for the featured Gold Mythic, 2.25% for the non-featured Gold Mythic, 12% for the Silver Mythic, and 85% for 6-star fighters. Obviously, you can exchange those 6-star fighters for rare bits and get different things in the store. There is going to be updates to the bit store on how those, what you can actually get with those rare bits and how much the things are even going to cost, which we will break down in the video as well. Next up is a big one. It's the Gold Mythic Recruits Wheel. This is going to be pretty much the main way of getting characters going forward, as there are changes to other parts of the game. Starting with this week's Premier Recruits Wheel, featuring Mr. Lou, Gold Mythic fighters will be added to the Gold Mythic Wheel within 2 weeks after their Premier Mythic Fighters Wheel ends. Past featured Premier Recruit Gold Mythic fighters will be added to the wheel as well. We'll also be adding past featured event Gold Mythic fighters to this wheel as well within 2 weeks of the event's end. Going forward, once this update is made, the Gold Mythic Recruits Wheel will feature 2 appearance rates categories for Gold Mythic fighters. Premier Recruits at 10% drop rate and event recruits at 90%. The full list of Gold Mythic fighters to be added to the Gold Mythic Wheel are listed below, which we will check out in just a second. Look for these changes to take place on November the 24th and go live with Gold Mythic Token missions that will reward you with Gold Mythic tokens for using your Gold Mythic tokens. As a free gift, we'll also be sending players 20,000 Gold Mythic tokens to make progress on these missions. And it says, please note, the only Gold Mythic fighters who will not enter the Gold Mythic Recruits Wheel are War Exclusive, Challenge Run, Survival Road Depot, and Mythic Trial Reward fighters. So here we can see the characters that are going to be on the Gold Mythic Recruits Wheel, and you can see on the left hand side we have got Gold Mythic Ezekiel, who is going to be classified as a Premier character, as is Mirabelle, Dale. These characters that are like 6 months old are going to be within the Premier Wheel, but there are also going to be newer characters as well. I'm pretty sure this is just going to be the order of release. As we scroll down, we're going to get newer characters popping up, and we're going to get on to the first character. Michonne 2000 is the first character that is new, and then we're going to obviously have the likes of Veronica, Tara, Davey, so on and so forth. Now, if you count the amount of characters that are here, that means that within that 10% chance, you've got less than a 5% chance pretty much of getting one of these characters. So if you want a very specific character, your chances of getting that specific character are extremely low if you even get that 10% in the first place. This is obviously, I think, even just short-term a problem, but the more Premier Recruits that get added to this wheel, the harder and harder it is going to be to get the specific character you want. So for instance, we have Michonne 2000 at the top here. Let's say you do not have any of this character at all, and this is the specific character you do actually want. When it comes around to, for instance, the return of the Skybound X Mythic Trial, you could just never get Michonne 2000, and that means you never get Rick, who is such an important character. Commands are going to be massively important, And I think a lot of people kind of theorize that eventually they just have the chance to get Rick because Michonne 2000 will become a bit more available. She's right now extremely low chance to actually get her. Now we'll move on to the event characters though. And you can see that we have the characters that were initially in the museum. So you're going to have a lot of the museum characters that some of them you've already been pulling dupes of anyway. You've not been claiming in the museum just because you do not need dupes. But they're going to be here anyway. These are considered event characters apparently. And it's all these characters down here. And 90% of the time you're going to pull one of these characters, as you can see. And then we will start getting onto characters that were actually event characters. For instance, we should start getting Ivanova. Garrett is considered an event character because he was part of a stash. Then we have Bruce, Aiko, Cal, Gov 2000, Laurie 2000, Anniversary Rosita. Conrad was considered part of an event apparently when it was a promo event with the roadmaps. And then lastly, we have Gold Mythic Eva, and we have Eugene as well. So we do have a bit more like exclusive characters in here, which I think some people will be happy. But there are characters in here, and I'd say it's almost like when you're going to pull these 90% of the time, it's 50-50 whether you're even going to get a character that you want. Because like a lot of the time you can just get like another Sandy, which you don't need, another Tyrese, you know, another Thomas Richards, you know, Carl, all the characters that you kind of don't want to get and you haven't picked up on purpose in the museum. Well, you've got a good potential of getting one of those characters on that 90% pull. Now, with regards to the mission, I am on my second region, and I can just go into the Gold Mythic Token Bonanza, and you can see you can get 11 pulls. This is 110,000 tokens from using 300,000 tokens. Obviously, the ones that you get from these missions will progress you further. You do get 2 pulls in your inbox. If you check your offers section, then go to specials, you can see you get a free offer for 2 pulls, which you can just take to the wheel. I'll take it to the wheel right now, just because I'm on, like I said, not my main region, just to show you. I have actually apparently already got a pull in this region. And we're just going to pull 3. 90% of the time, we're going to pull characters from the more accessible part of the wheel. These are all event characters so far. So I got all event characters, and 2 of which were previously released characters. This is going to be what happens the majority of the time, honestly. We did have 1 character from an event that was newer, which is nice, but all 3 of these are in those 90% rates. Now, after doing your free 2 pulls, you can go back into the mission and claim another 10,000, and then when you do that pull, it will count towards the following missions. I'll just go back and do another pull. Pulling's fun. Pulling's fun. But I don't think the reward's going to be very great a lot of the time. And it's funny because it literally could have been like a Davey or Advance that came out and just like, oh damn, proving me wrong. But even if it did, the chances of me, I can't call what character is going to come out. I want, let's say I've got a grade 4 character right now and I desperately need my 5th Advance or my 5th anything. It could just be legitimately years. The odds are going to just get worse and worse and worse. It's going to be just horrendous in my opinion. Now the reason it's really bad is because there are going to be changes to other parts of the game, and like I mentioned during that little bit about the Gold Mythic tokens, it is going to be your primary way of getting Gold Mythics going forward, and we'll see why. The bit shop will no longer be a source to pick up Gold Mythic fighters. Instead, they'll move to the new Mythic Market inside the Grey Market. This is giving us an opportunity to focus on refreshing the bit shop with various rewards players will need on a recurring basis, along with options for what to do with duplicate fighters. These rewards will include Silver Mythic tokens, trainers, Gold Mythic tokens, and TWD Gold Medals, and will refresh every 90 days. Look for these changes to be implemented on November the 27th, along with a free gift of 10 gilded bits and 30 rare bits to be used in the bit shop. The full contents of the new bit shop are listed below. And here are those bit shop changes. As you can see, you can exchange 1 character, you can sell 1 duplicate fighter for 1 gilded bit, and then you can buy with that 1 gilded bit either 5,000 TWD Gold Medals to be used on the new Mythic Market, which we'll check out in a second, or buy half a pull on the Gold Mythic Tokens Wheel. So you can see it's just everything's pointing you in the direction of the Gold Mythic Tokens Wheel pretty much. and you'll see the stuff in the Mythic Market. It's pretty much the same as the guild bit stuff works right now, but instead of being updated every month, it will be every 90 days. But we will check it out in a second. You can see the limits are going to be quite high, so it's not going to be a problem about running out of this stuff, but it's got a 90-day refresh. Now we'll move on to the rare bits section, and this was honestly a little bit surprising because there's been a massive increase in the cost of silver mythics. I believe before they cost 8 and 10 rare bits, and now it's 30 and 20. I know we're getting 6 stars more often, but the only people who are going to get 6 stars more often consistently are people who are going to be pulling promos. So it looks like the bit shop has been moved to a more of a promo side of things rather than it being an actual, side of the game which is going to be accessible. No one's getting this many 6 stars a month if they aren't pulling on the Premier Wheel. There hasn't been any changes to the elite tokens. It's still only 60% chance to get a 6 star on there, and that is pretty much the only source of 6 stars for anyone who doesn't pull on the Premier Wheels. Now you might argue that people who don't pull on the Premier Wheels do not need silver mythics as much, and that is of course very true. You do not need as many, but you still need these silver mythics in the bits shop to actually level up the mythics you're getting just from playing the game free to play. So these are pretty much included in the game economy when it comes to the amount of silvers people have access to. We also do see a reduction in the amount of trainer XP we can get with our rare bits. It now costs 3 rare bits for a Benedict, whereas it used to cost 4 rare bits for a Bernadette. So you'd get, I believe, is that twice the amount of XP? Actually, is it 4 times the amount of XP for a 30% increase in the cost? A 25% reduction for a 75% reduction in XP. I'm not sure what's going on there, but it is where it is. World Energy is going to cost the same, thankfully, and it will go up to 300 world cans that you can claim every 3 months. I guess we can kind of understand why this event just came out, to completely siphon off a lot of our world cans, because this is going to come in to just give us a chance to buy them all back. But again, like I said, most people don't have this many rare bits. The only people who do are people who consistently pull on the promo wheel. And lastly, we have the 2000 supply markers in here, and this is going to be pretty much the only way of getting supply markers going forward, because there's not going to be too many ways to get 5 stars if they're removing the 60% odds that they had in the Premier Wheel. You're not going to be able to get SD tokens as easily. Just in-game confirmation of the current prices of the bit store. You can see it's 10, 8 and 4, and it has been changed to, I believe, 30, 20 and then 3, but obviously Bernadette has been reduced down to a Benny. Now the next thing we're going to go over is the Mythic Market, and this has been referenced already a couple of times in this post. It says the Mythic Market will be a new section added to the Grey Market, updated every 90 days, with 12 gold mythic fighters to choose from in exchange for TWD Gold Medals. This will feature both past event characters and previous Premier Recruit characters for players to choose from. Past event characters will be available for 10,000 TWD Gold Medals, and Premier Recruit fighters will be 20,000 TWD Gold Medals. The addition of the Mythic Market will replace the TWD Gold Medal Museum collections. The TWD Gold Medal Museum collections will be removed on November the 30th, so if you know of a gold mythic fighter in the museum you want, make sure to pick it up before it goes away. Once the Mythic Market is in place on November the 30th, we'll send players a gift of 20,000 TWD Gold Medals to pick and choose from the new Mythic Market. The first run of gold mythic fighters will be featured in the Mythic Market are listed below, and we'll check those out in a second. It says, please note, the only gold mythic fighters who will not enter the Mythic Market are the War Exclusive, Challenge Run, Survival Road Depot and Mythic Trial Reward fighters. And here are the characters that are going to be in the Mythic Market initially, and you can see the promos are going to be Martinez, Skins, Dr. Stevens and Ash. We're going to have 4 of those, and it looks like we're going to have 8 event characters in Bruce, Cal, Garrett, Alice, Sophia, Eugene, Conrad and Barker. Now some of these characters are actually quite nice to have in here, so you can decide to save some of your TWD Gold Medals to pick up some of these characters when they come out straight away, or you can know that this is going to be up for 3 months and not updated for 3 months. And I would say some of these characters are quite old already, especially the Premier characters. If we take a look at these, Martinez, Dr. Stevens was two of the earliest characters to be released, and Skins and Ash, while a bit more recent, are probably not the top tier characters that are in Premier. You know, this is the very low power Premier additions to the Mythic store for sure. Going forward, of course, we will kind of be at the mercy of Scopely and what they decide to add in here. They could just add completely terrible premieres that are not going to really do anything for anybody. It is actually kind of interesting that a lot of people were talking about issues they're having in certain parts of the game. For instance, Challenge Run, and not a single alert premiere is here to help out with that potentially. So it doesn't look like they're thinking about the player base with some of these additions either. And we're going to have to wait 90 days for a potential refresh on maybe a character that's going to help out there, for instance. Now, because the new Mythic Market is going to be up for 90 days, you can choose to pick up the characters that are in the current museum over those characters, especially if they're part of certain collections that you require. For instance, we've got a good idea that characters like Laurie will come back around as part of the Mythic Trials. Also should have Morgan come around as part of Mythic Trials. So for instance, if you need this character right here, Gabriel, he is part of Select Recruits right now, but he is harder to come by other than Select Recruits. You could be unlucky. Me personally, I've only ever managed to get 2 Gabriels. So if you wanted to secure yourself 3 more Gabriels, you could just buy them instantly. He will be in the 90% section on the Gold Mythic tokens, but there's no guarantee you're going to pick that character up. Like I said, even within 90%, you could still just get every character except Gabriel with your pulls. And that's just kind of how it goes with RNG. It's completely random. And that goes with every other character in here. So if there's a specific character you see that you like, you might want to just pick them up. For instance, Andrea, Carol, you know, any character that you see. Now you can check out Limit Break 3 of both Fast and Strong, and I should have a Limit Break 3 out of Tough and Alert before these museum collections end. I will do my best to get the Tough one out on Friday and the Alert one out next Monday. But generally speaking, if there's a character in here you already heavily use and you do not have them at Limit Break 3 already, it is worth picking up enough characters to get them there, just to guarantee that you can actually do that. The next one says, the Mythic Recruits Wheel will now feature exclusively Silver Mythic Fighters and will no longer reward Gold Mythic Fighters starting on November the 30th. So while it was only a 3% chance, you've got no chance going forward of getting a Gold Mythic in there. So if you have any tokens, it is very worth pulling those right now. And that's because you're going to get guaranteed silvers afterwards, and you might as well pick up your chance of at least getting a gold now. And even if you get a duplicate, you can sell for a guild bet and then exchange for TWD Gold Medals or Gold Mythic tokens. So it's definitely worth using your tokens if you have them sitting there right this second. Now there's confirmation on Prestige Recruits and Select Recruits being removed from the game. Moving forward, we wanted to make sure to let players know we will not be updating the Prestige Recruits and Select Recruits wheels, and they will be removed from the game in early 2022. So this is actually kind of interesting, and if this is the case, they need to stop giving these out as rewards. Honestly, if you go to Conquest, you get Select Recruit tokens as rewards in Conquest 6. Like, it's crazy. So they need to change the rewards in these sections to be at least, I guess, Mythic Recruit tokens to give out Silver Mythic tokens. I don't know. Definitely something needs to improve here. In the Battle Pass, I think there's Select Recruit tokens as well. So all of this needs to change. If I get a Select Recruit token, going forward, then it doesn't seem like, I mean, as much as they're removing it, they're still giving out them out as rewards. The rewards need to be a defunct reward right now, and Prestige rewards are going out if you're managing to get your Prestige updates. Some people aren't, but Prestige is still a thing as well. They're also going to be part of the scavenger camps, and we had issues with scav camps when even the 4-star wheel was removed, where the scav camps had to be upgraded to Select Recruits from the 4-star tokens. Now there's going to be Select Recruit tokens in there as well, and Prestige tokens as well from Prestige missions. So yeah, they need to fix various parts of the game like almost instantly. Otherwise, it's going to be it's pretty frustrating, honestly, pretty frustrating. Now the last announcement is about the Mythic Battle Pass, and it says, finally, the Mythic Battle Pass will now exclusively feature newly released Gold Mythic Recruits available only with purchase of the Mythic Battle Pass, and will no longer feature past Gold Mythic fighters. These Mythic Battle Pass fighters will join the Gold Mythic Recruits Wheel within 2 weeks of the Battle Pass ending as event recruits. Look for these changes starting with the next Mythic Battle Pass. Now, on the face of it, that could actually be kind of good, but if you can't pick up every single character required to get that character to Limit Break 3 with the purchase of a Mythic Battle Pass, then you could potentially get, let's say, 60 or 80% of the character, and then that last 1 or 2 characters that you require within that 90% you may not get for, like I say, years. It's just going to be absolutely horrible going forward to get the specific character that you want. So we'll have to see. You can't really grade this at all until we see the structure of the Battle Pass. The next Battle Pass is due to come out in about 2 weeks' time, but we'll see what sort of structure they're going to introduce with this. Is that going to change the price of the Battle Pass? Is that going to remove certain elements of the Battle Pass? Will we still get a weapon? My guess is we're going to have a big restructure on the Battle Pass here. And I do hope that people that purchase the Battle Pass will actually receive all 5 characters if they complete it. We'll have to wait and see how good this part of it is, but the rest doesn't seem great, honestly. It's just pushing you towards RNG, and that's especially frustrating if, like I said, you need one particular, very particular character, and let's say you need them 5 times. If you need 5 of a particular character in Premier Recruits to get the LB3 of a Mythic trial once it comes back around, just good luck, honestly. Good luck. I'm sitting on 3 Michonne 2000s. I've got her LB1. I could just legitimately never get her to LB3. It just could roll that way. RNG is not good. RNG within roadmaps is not good. Layered RNG within the new Gold Mythic tokens is not good. You know, 10% to pull a character at like 5% after that. It's crazy. It's crazy. And with Inner Circle on the horizon, I think the gap is just going to be absolutely crazy between someone who very consistently picks up promos and someone who does not ever do promo pulls. You could have someone who doesn't have an Inner Circle upgrade for every 6 months, and then you've got someone doing it every week because they're putting the promo. The level gap is going to be huge, and levels are so important in RTS. Like character levels, 20, 30 levels make a difference, but we're going to be talking hundreds. So have fun in war against someone who's basically got a conquest defense team, and you're attacking like with someone 500 levels lower. It's definitely not going to be fun at that point, and it's not really that fun right now. But that's the end of this video, guys. I will be doing a breakdown on Inner Circle stuff going forward, because I think that's going to be, honestly, quite a big problem in the game, but especially with these changes. I thought it was going to be a problem with just the museum. You know, being able to select your characters, being able to pick them up, being able to get particular characters to LB3. Now you can't even do that. So, yeah, I think a lot of people are kind of screwed. That is the end of this video, guys. As always, keep on surviving, guys. Keep on surviving.